Dragon King Yi Chen, a master of profound self-determination. None can break the defenses of the immovable King Palace. They wanted to collaborate with Tang Ruoyu to kill themselves. I used a backhand to knock them out of the school of fish. But 2 days have passed, and there's still no news from Tang Ruoyu. Tang Yu also couldn't continue to drift aimlessly. Today is the day of the annual meeting of the Suhang Chamber of Commerce. Big companies from Suzhou and Hangzhou will attend this annual meeting. Tang Yu must also act as a representative of the Tang Group. Before going, Qin Ming had already sent him a WeChat message. They said that today at the annual meeting they would openly suppress Ling Cheng Group. The Tang family and the Wang family will definitely respond to this. The three families have formed an alliance. They are all exerting comprehensive pressure on Lin Cheng Group. Dressed up and tidied up, Tang Yu and his father rushed to the hotel. As soon as I got off the car, many famous figures from Suzhou and Hangzhou came up to greet me. Qin Ming didn't know where he had emerged from. Tang Yu dragged someone into a suite. He went in. I just realized Qin Kexin was sitting by the window drawing. Seeing Qin Kexin smile and look at him, Tang Yu instinctively recalled that day more than 10 years ago. He pointed at the drawing board. "Do you still draw now?" Qin Kexin's expression was somewhat nostalgic. He has been sensitive since childhood. He is quite tall and elderly, with the special status of the Qin family's eldest daughter. It's actually a bit awkward at school. Those classmates were aware that their status was not as good as his. The surface was flattering and appeasing to him. Yet, secretly, they were openly pushing him out. School is a small society. The more special a person is, the harder it is for them to blend in. He also didn't want to deal with these people while wearing a mask. Over time, it led to depression. He looked at Tang Yu with eager anticipation and asked, "Let's draw together. It's been a long time since we painted together." Tang Yu shook his head. "The atmosphere here feels a bit off." Seeing Tang Yu about to leave, Qin Kexin immediately showed a look of grievance. I saw tears welling up in his eyes. Tang Yuxin's heart softened. Ian obediently sat next to Qin Kexin and drew together with him. Qin Kexin smiled happily, just as I was about to get up to fetch Tang Yu a paintbrush. I accidentally tripped over the drawing board. The body fell forward and hit the ground. Hearing Qin Kexin fall and scream, Tang Yu quickly helped him up. Qin Kexin shook her head. The soft carpet on the ground prevented him from getting hurt. Just as he was about to stand up, a sharp pain shot through my ankle. Couldn't help but gasp, looking at Tang Yu pitifully. Tang Yu let out a bitter laugh. "Why does this feel a bit familiar?" Let Qin Kexin rest her hand on my shoulder. Tang Yu wrapped his arms around him. "Help him to the sofa." The one who facilitated all of this was Qin Yu. "Now we've gotten into trouble," because 3 women came to find him. The man dressed like the villain from the novel, only focused on staying away from the heroines to survive until the end. Unexpectedly, Qin Ming directly sent him into Qin Kexin's room. Even worse is Su Mu Yu, Wang Yixu, and Jiang Zioyu. At the same time, someone came to the door. Qin Ming under pressure. He could only point to the room upstairs. The 3 girls immediately rushed upstairs to find Tang Yu. Tang Yu looked at the 3 women in shock. "Wow, how did you 3 show up too?" "This is the arrival of Mahjong." Qin Kexin saw the expressions of the 3 women. Her lips couldn't help but curve into a slight smile. As women, how could he not guess their thoughts? Wang Yixu pulled Tang Yu's arm. "Let's go. The meeting is about to start. Uncle asked me to call you down." Seeing Wang Yixu's actions, Sima Yu wasn't happy about it. He walked over and linked his other arm with Tang Yu, displeased. Miss Wang, please have some self-respect. Don't always think about someone else's fiancé. I see they have already started battling," Tang Yu helplessly suggested. "I have 2 strands of hair left here. Why don't you carry me down, okay?" Surrounded by 4 beautiful characters. It should be a rather happy thing, according to common logic. Tang Yu just feels overwhelmed by pressure. After walking down from upstairs, he could clearly feel everyone's gaze fixed on him. Tang Gengchen turned his head to take a look. I almost fainted. After everyone took their seats, the members of the 4 great families and a few other prominent families sat in the front. But what draws attention is there's still an empty seat in the front row. In previous years, this position belonged to Blackstone Group. Heishi Group has now been acquired and renamed Lincheng Group. This time, they surprisingly didn't send a representative to the annual meeting. This has sparked the imaginations of many, because a few days ago, 3 of the 4 great families announced their intention to take action against Lincheng Group. As per tradition, the city leaders will take the stage to give their speeches. After the leaders finished speaking, Wang Yixu stood up as the representative of the Wan family and proposed, "Our Tang Wan group will actively respond to the call, contributing my humble efforts to the environmental protection of Suzhou and Hangzhou. I have another question I'd like to raise with the leaders. Lincheng Group is a major company in our Suzhou and Hangzhou. To seek wealth, they spare no effort in destroying the environment." Wan Yixu was clearly intent on openly tearing apart the facade of Lincheng Group after he took the lead to express his stance. The Tang family and the Qin family also raised some other issues regarding the Lincheng Group. The 3 families struck hard in front of the entire Suhang Chamber of Commerce. This attitude made everyone ponder a question. Shouldn't we come out and take a stand? If the Lincheng Group falls, that is a big chunk of fat. Many people began to ponder this matter in their hearts, and soon reached a conclusion. It's time to take action. After this tense annual meeting filled with conflict, the enemies of Lincheng Group have now become the business tycoons of Suhang. After returning to the Tang family, Tang Yu rushed to the room and called for Lin Han. He looked at her with a knowing gaze. Sweat squeezed out a smile that was more like a grimace. Skillfully sitting on the ground, giving this guy a head rub. Staying at the Tang family during this time. He feels quite good. Just when Tang Yu was feeling comfortable, the phone in the pocket vibrated. He casually pulled it out and realized it was sent by Tang Royu. "Elder brother, do you have time now? It was that time I mentioned to you last time." Tang Yu immediately perked up. This traitor is finally going to take action, right? Finally, this kid took the bait. "You want the Grim Reaper squad to come and kill me, huh? Dot thief, I've been waiting for you to take the bait." After hearing Tang Yu's inner voice, a flash of worry crossed Lin Han's eyes. He is well aware of the strength of the Reaper's squad. He wouldn't stand a chance against the 4 of them working together. Seeing Tang Yu rush out of the room, Lin Han pondered for a moment before deciding to follow. Tang Yu did not rush to find Tang Royu. The underworld's death squad cannot do anything about themselves. But the problem is that I have no fighting power myself, so he needs to bring some helpers along. The man dressed up as the villain from the novel just escaped from the extreme entanglement of the 3 female leads. The Grim Reaper squad under the male lead has set their sights on him. Tang Yu possesses the undying Nether King Palace, which protects him from harm. But for effective combat output, let the 2 drumming experts, invited by the Tang family, follow me closely. These 2 motivators are a father and son. Father Huang Tianru is already over 60 years old. The son Huang Jiangxia is in his early 40s. After seeing Tang Yu, their attitude became somewhat cold. Tang Yu didn't find anything strange. Based on the Xuanwen setting, it's frustrating for a skilled person to be a henchman for a wealthy antagonist. Under Tang Yu's arrangement, the father and son got into a relatively low-key Audi. He was driving that luxury car, cruising down the road. After the car arrived at the male accessories entrance, Tang Ruoyu is already waiting at the door. Tang Yu's smile held a certain depth of meaning. He already knows that this guy contacted the Grim Reaper squad, but it's really unclear where these people are hiding. Tang Yu laughed heartily, followed Tang Ruoyu and boarded his troops. After getting in the car, I glanced at the rearview mirror. The car of the Huang family, father and son, is following behind at a distance. Today, I specially brought 2 people along. It's to ask them to help wrap things up. All 4 members of the Grim Reaper squad must stay. Meanwhile, on the hillside of a certain road, 4 men are sitting in the grass smoking. Their death squad is the elite force of the Dragon Soul organization. All aspire to move further up the 8 great battlefields of the body. The emaciated man spoke. We must complete today's task, but it's not for Yi Chen. But it's Lu Shao. Lu Shao he mentioned. It is Lu Junjuo, ranked 2nd among the 8 great battlefields of the Dragon Soul organization. He has a senior brother relationship with Yi Chen. Lun Keihua's talents far surpass Yi Chen in every aspect. Many people even believe that, if it weren't for the blood relation between Yi Chen and the old Dragon King, the Dragon King's position should rightfully belong to Lu Junjuo. The 4 members of the Death God's team, it can be said that this is the elite team cultivated by Lu Junjuo. In the midst of the 4 people's extreme excitement, the target finally appeared in sight. When the car was still 20 meters away, the 4 of them dashed out like cheetahs. A gaunt man raised his hand and threw a dagger. The dagger just pierced through the windshield. Tang Ruoyu, who was driving, was startled. "Damn it. If I make a mistake, I'm finished." He quickly slammed on the brakes, looking at Tang Yu angrily. "Someone is looking for trouble. I'll go down and have a match with them." The car is equipped with a dashcam. He has to deliberately act this way to prove his innocence. Tang Yu glanced at him with a smile that was not quite a smile. This damn dog is still putting on a show. Tang Ruoyu felt a surge of joy in her heart. Pushing open the car door, I rushed forward with clenched fists towards the 4 members of the death squad. His combat power is worse than that of a low-level fighter. After rushing over, one of them easily knocked me out. Tang Yu has unbuckled his seat belt and gotten out of the car. One of the men rushed up and threw a punch at Tang Yu. As the master of the peak of Huang Ziji's self-destruction, this so-called second-generation rich person, in his eyes, a casual strike could kill. Tang Yu stood still in place, looking calm and unperturbed. "Let this punch hit my face." After this punch lands, he stood still in place. The man throwing the punch was also stunned. My punch actually went up without any reaction. I saw his shocked expression. Tang Yu looked disdainful. It's a gaze as if looking at garbage. Deeply hurt the short man's self-esteem. He shouted in anger, used the ultimate skill of the Yanyi fist. This punch contains the strength of 1,000 armies. Even a cow can be easily killed. But this punch hit Tang Yu's chest. Tang Yu remained completely still. Tang Yu smiled calmly. The gaze grew increasingly contemptuous. Finally got my hands on the immovable underworld kingbow from the system. It's something you can break through if you really want to. The other 3 members of the Grim Reaper squad also had fierce expressions. The 4 of them were evenly matched in strength. Seeing my teammate throw 2 punches but not deal any damage, This left them somewhat incredulous. One of the gutter-nosed men shouted angrily. A figure suddenly flashed behind Tang Yu. A stick struck his head. Meanwhile, another man jumped up and punched Tang Yu in the right cheek. Under the combined attack of the two, Tang Yu remained completely still. Take a deep breath. With a backhand, he kicked one person each. The man dressed like the villain from the novel. The male lead sends top assassins to kill him. Unexpectedly, I had the immovable Pluto bow protecting me. Even under the fierce attack of the four, Tang Yu feels nothing at all. The four members of the Grim Reaper squad were almost in disbelief. Yin Gubai has a rather sinister mindset. After seeing that the four-person combined attack technique was ineffective, he suddenly gave up the attack. An axe appeared in my hand. I whispered towards Tang Yu's flower. In the strong man's heart, there are always some places that are vulnerable. But this time he made a mistake. The razor-sharp axe struck true. It's unexpectedly difficult to make any progress. Immediately after, he received another heavy blow to his face. You damn looked down on my expansion machine. I thought my brother was that useless Yi Chen. Tang Yu was about to take action. The four people have already retreated several meters at light speed to create distance. They looked pale and gasped for breath. I can't believe everything in front of me. When Tang Yu saw his hand reaching into his pocket, the four of them instantly tensed up. Cold sweat dripped down my forehead. Is this man about to make a move? Then they saw Tang Yu pull a cigarette out of his pocket. Sell yourself softly and gently. Seeing the four people already weak and trembling, Tang Yu was quite satisfied. Brother's strength. It all depends on your imagination. He raised one hand high. The four of them immediately took a big step back. At the same time, the ambushed Huang Tianrui and his son reacted. The two rushed towards the four members of the Grim Reaper squad. Discussion on the strength of the Reaper squad's four members. Anyone is stronger than that father and son. The fierce battle just ended. They have exhausted all their energy and stamina, and also scared out of their wits. At this moment, they are no different from ordinary people. Soon, the four were easily subdued by the spirited Huang Tianrui and his son. Tang Yu was just about to have them send the person to the police station. Her gaze suddenly locked onto one of the man's hands. This man, having 12 fingers, he suddenly remembered. At over 400 chapters into the original story, the Tiger Dance faction begins to emerge. One of the bodyguards of a large family is 12 fingers. The description of the appearance is quite similar to the person in front of me. This bodyguard belongs to the villainous forces. Next, he was naturally killed by Yi Chen with a single punch. Tang Yu couldn't help but let out a tiger-like roar. This plot is such a mess. The characters who haven't appeared yet have already come out. Moreover, their identity has become that of a member of the Dragon Soul organization. A puzzled Tang Fish took a deep breath of White Hand Rod. Send everyone to the police station. Huang Tianrui and his son looked at Tang Yu with increasing admiration. As expected of Tang Xiao, true masters not only keep a low profile, and they also abide by the law. Tang Yu glanced back at Tang Ruoyu, who was still lying on the ground. I charged at this traitor and started punching and kicking. After hitting for a full few minutes, Tang Yu felt refreshed and invigorated. He whistled. Just drag this kid and toss him onto the car. Drive him to the hospital. Not long after Tang Yu left, a figure fell from a tree beside. It was Ling Han secretly tracking Tang Yu. At this moment, his face was extremely shocked. The strength of the Death God squad. He couldn't be more clear. The four of them attacked until they were exhausted. But they couldn't harm Tang Yu. This lack of strength is simply a joke about suicide. With Tang Xiao's strength, killing me is clearly as easy as flipping your hand. He didn't mean that. Do you like me? Ling Han muttered to himself after. A blush of red flashed across her face. Tang Yu returned to the car and lit another cigarette. The plot is getting more and more off. Dog system. What's going on now? Why have all the characters who aren't supposed to appear yet already shown up? The plot has collapsed. Please be extra careful, master. The spell of the tangfish has not arrived. When the plot spirals out of control, it means the real danger has just begun. At this moment, Tang Yu suddenly flashed some strange images in his mind. Each scene is a moment of my own death. They just died at the hands of different people. This suddenly emerging memory, Tang Yu's expression showed some pain. A red number floated before his eyes. Just as he wanted to carefully flip through this memory, her expression suddenly turned confused. His memory has returned to a few minutes ago, and this suddenly appearing memory disappeared again. Dog system, what about the reward? The reward has been delivered. The system's voice sounded again. Just this time, the system's voice seemed to carry a hint of weakness. Tang Yu had no strategies in mind. There isn't much around. But at the same time, a package sent under the name of Tang Yu has already boarded the plane to Africa. The man dressed like the villain from the novel. With the power of the immovable underworld king, he repelled the death god team. Successfully survived another plot point. But the system has awarded this time's reward. Pack it as a parcel and send it to He Jing in Africa. He Jing instantly perked up, quickly took the package and carefully opened it. Inside was a book with an ancient and fragrant appearance. Long Jiangju. He carefully opened it and glanced a few times. Tears flowed immediately. Tang Xiao must be constantly paying attention to himself. As a warrior, he knows very well how precious the secret book in his hand is. This is a treasure that money can't buy. He Jing choked back a sob and wiped his tear-streaked face. He yelled at his subordinates. Starting from tomorrow, go to the local area. Bring me 100 young people with martial arts potential. I want to train elite willpower for Tang Xiao. At this moment in his family's private hospital, Yi Chen lay on the hospital bed with an anxious expression, a feeling of inexplicable unease. 5 hours ago, the Grim Reaper squad, already closing in on the target, ready to act. But until now, he still hasn't received any news, worried to the point of being unable to function. He could only ask the nurse to help find He Huiyan. Let the He family help investigate the situation. About 15 minutes later, He Huiyan walked in with a bag from outside. Miss He, I want you to help me find out what's going on. I sent out 4 subordinates, but I can't reach them. Just as He Chan was about to clarify the situation, a man's voice came from outside the door. No need to look anymore. They have already gone to prison. After seeing the youth, Yi Chen's expression changed slightly in an instant. Lu Junzhuo smiled slightly and said, "The incident involving the Grim Reaper squad. The master is already aware. Let me come over and help you. Let you recover well. Once I'm better, I'll go to Yanjing. I will handle the matters of Suju and Hangzhou." Yi Chen's heart sank instantly. After sizing up Lu Junzhuo for a moment, the pupils constricted. "You have broken through." Lu Junzhuo gave a charming smile and nodded. His current strength has already reached the peak of Xuanziji, only a step away from self-destruction. Yet Yi Chen's strength was still at the mid-stage of the profound self-destruction realm. Long Wan's position will be determined by Lu Junzhuo. Yi Chen wore a gloomy expression and remained silent. A glimmer of killing intent flashed in his eyes. At this moment in the Tang group, Cha Yinjiang was completely focused on playing the game. Tang Yu walked in, patted his shoulder, and told him to take a break. "The silly girl plays so seriously every day. Is it necessary to act so seriously?" Tang Yu rolled his eyes and asked, "Do you know what day it is today?" Giant Chai Ying was stunned, and he could only remind him. "Today is your birthday." Chai Ying finally came to her senses. However, as a killer, birthdays have nothing to do with him. Tang suddenly brought this up, making him feel a slight heaviness in his heart. Tang Yu looked at Chai Ying and chuckled darkly. "The company has a policy that employees must celebrate their birthdays. Today I happen to be free as well. Let's celebrate you." Chai Ying looked at Tang Yu fiercely. "Since the first time I secretly listened to Tang Xiao's thoughts." He began to investigate the Tang family following the clues. After a series of investigations he conducted, I really found information about my father. His father's name is Chihang. More than 30 years ago, I offended a powerful figure and was hunted down. Saved by the Tang family patriarch when I was at my wit's end. Became the captain of the Tang family's bodyguard team. He is utterly loyal to the Tang family. Also saved Elder Tang twice. Therefore, Tang Yu's father had a very close brotherly relationship with him. After working at the Tang family for over 10 years, he suddenly vanished without a trace. Tang's family searched for him for years but could not find any trace of him. After waiting for several years, a pregnant woman came to the Tang family claiming to be Chai Hong's wife. The Tang family naturally took in the pregnant woman and treated her very well. Less than half a year after giving birth to her daughter, he just disappeared with his daughter. In the events that followed, Chai Ying cannot be found anymore. After all, the information on the Tang family is limited. This way, he can be sure. Tang Xiao and the Tang family are definitely not my enemies. They have a great debt of gratitude towards their family. How could he, Chai Ying, repay kindness with enmity? After leaving the office, Tang Yu took Chai Ying and got into his sports car. Head towards a large shopping mall. "I'll buy you a birthday gift later. Go buy some clothes or something. You're just a girl. Sometimes you need to learn to dress up." Chai Ying arrived, her face flushed and covered in blood, feeling a little moved inside. The man dressed up as the villain from the novel, to win over the male lead's assassin underlings. Celebrate Chai Ying's birthday under the pretense of a company gathering. Take him to the mall to pick out a birthday gift. This mall is owned by the Tang family. Walking the high-end route as well, he navigated the path with ease, accompanied by Chai Ying. You must step into a music store. In the original book's plot, Chai Ying has a deep inner self, a girl who yearns for a normal life. Our hobby is music. I like the guitar, but this thing has nothing to do with her life. So I gave her a guitar as a birthday gift. It's just perfect. Chai Ying happily started picking. After selecting for a while, finally decided on one. Light yellow handmade silk membrane classical guitar. Tang Yu took out his wallet. He pulled out a credit card from inside, handed it over. After swiping the card, very eye-catching, the woman pulled out a black membership card from her pocket, swayed to and fro. "I am the black gold member of your store. I heard your store has a silk membrane man. Bring it to me." The female sales attendant looked a bit troubled. "Tell her this guitar has just been sold." Xiao Mian's brows furrowed and her expression darkened instantly. "I saw the guitar that Chai Ying was holding." Then he commanded the female sales associate, "Return the money to them. I want this guitar." The female salesperson awkwardly declined unexpectedly, suddenly slapped across the face. Tan frowned. This sentence has a strong emotional flavor. He carefully recalled the identity of the woman. She is the lover of a certain villain. It should have been here that I offended Yi Chen. Then, in a fit of anger, Dragon King Yi Chen hit her. Immediately, the villain appears and the conflict with Yi Chen escalates. Thus, the familiar plot of showing off, face-slapping, and building hatred unfolded smoothly. Tang Yu smiled darkly in his heart. I came up with a wicked idea, then intentionally sat here waiting for the plot to unfold. At this moment, a middle-aged man ran over. The man here is the store manager, Chen Jiaxuan. After learning the full story, he began to reprimand the female salesperson. After waiting for a long time, Tang Yu suddenly spoke up. You should make him apologize. Starting today, your family no longer needs to go to Suzhou and Hangzhou for any affairs. Chen Jiaxuan glanced at Tang Yu with a dismissive smile. Xiao Meiyan also started to scold harshly. After scolding, he reached out to snatch the guitar from Chai Ying's arms. Chai Ying's gaze turned cold, just as Xiao Meiyan was about to reach out. Tang Yu has already stood up and slapped back with a big move. Xiao Meiyan stepped back 2 paces, her face showing a look of horror. He let out a scream, rushed forward, and grabbed Tang Yu's face. But his hand still couldn't reach. Tang Yu kicked him in the stomach. Although everyone is a villain, but you are just cannon fodder. It really is a bit chaotic. A young man walked in with an old man outside the door. Han Shao, please help me take revenge quickly. This dog man hit me. Saw the youth. Xiao Meiyan quickly got up from the ground, crying like a rain-soaked pear blossom. This is his benefactor. That's the confidence that makes him so arrogant. I saw that Xiao Meiyan's face was half swollen. He felt an unbearable pain in his heart. Then his expression darkened. Staring at Tang Yu, he said coldly, "You're quite bold, aren't you? You dare to touch the woman of Han Mingxuan?" After hearing that name, Tang felt a surge of joy in his heart. Zhengzhu has finally arrived. This guy is not from Suhang, but the second young master of the Han family from Yanjing. The Han family is a top-tier family in Yanqing. No great family in Su and Han can compare to them. He came to Suhang this time to attend an auction. The auction hasn't started yet. He has already become enemies with Yi Chen. At the auction, he deliberately competed with Dragon King Yi Chen for treasures. Both sides had a conflict. Afterwards, he wanted to find someone to take down Yi Chen. Yi Chen also had the same thought. In the end, he was killed. The Han family is connected to the tragic incident at the Yi family from back then. They were already enemies of Yi Chen. The enemy of my enemy is not necessarily my friend. So he made a decision that went against his ancestors on the spot. The man dressed like the villain from the novel. Just bought a gift for the assassin beside me. They encountered the male protagonist's enemy, the second young master of the Han family in Yanjing, Han Mingxuan. Seeing the other party so arrogant and overbearing, Tang Yu decided to pretend to be Yi Chen's subordinate and declare war on the Han family. I, Tang Beixuan, act with resolve. There's no need to explain to them. Han Ningxuan chuckled. He raised his hand to signal the old man behind him to take action. After seeing the old man arrive, Jai Ying, standing at the back, slightly changed her expression. He could tell that this old man was an ancient martial artist. Although the strength is not high, he is after all Huang Zijian. Tang Shao is an ordinary person. Where could anyone be a match for this old man? Just as he was about to take action, a middle-aged man walked in from outside. It is the ancient martial arts bodyguard Huang Junxia, newly hired by the Tang family. Come help Tang Shao clear away some trash. The old man's hands moved as fast as lightning. In an instant, a series of lightning-fast five-whip strikes hit Tang Yu. Chai Ying realized it was too late to block, because they were too close to each other. He instantly had a murderous look on his face, ready to seek revenge for Tang Xiao. Yet I found Tang Xiao standing still in place, not moving at all. The old man instantly took 2 steps back, looking at Tang Yu with a wary expression, as an ancient martial artist. He was very clear about his recent lightning-fast five-strike whip kick. This person has been beaten into lifelong disability. But why didn't the other party move at all? Tang Yu spoke casually. I, Tang Bei, declare to bully the useless. You have 3 more chances to take action. The old man charged forward. He jumped up and kicked Tang Yu in the temple. At this moment, his toes held the strength of 1,000 troops. Even a stone can kill on the spot. Tang Yu remained completely still. This moment, the old man is really foolish. Chai Yin was also taken aback. Guing Zhengxia, however, found it unremarkable and said, "It's useless even if I give you 100 chances. Tang Shui Tang's cousin committed suicide. How could a mere ant like you easily inflict harm?" The old man trembled slightly at these words. After the full force strike failed to move Tang Yu, he has already speculated about this possibility in his mind. At this moment, he no longer had the courage to take action. The gaze towards Tang Yu was filled with fear and restraint. Noticing the atmosphere was off, Xiao Meian whispered, "Han Shao, what is it for a younger brother to take his own life?" Han Mingxuan had a grim expression. He quickly struck back at Gilguang. As the direct descendant of the Han family, he is naturally well informed and knowledgeable. What does it mean for a master to commit suicide? Such a master, even his grandfather would have to be polite. In the ancient martial arts world, the younger brother's suicide was definitely a major event. To offend such a master for a worthless person. Are you looking for trouble? He walked up to Tang Yu. The voice trembled slightly. "Mr. Tan, today I, Han Mingxuan, am blind to the truth. I am a member of the Han family from Yanjing. If it were Mr. Tang—" Before he finished speaking, Tang Yu's eyes sparkled. Staring at him, she said coldly, "You are a member of the Han family from Yanjing." Han Mingxuan felt a sudden joy in his heart. If that's the case, then today's matter will be easy to discuss. Tang Yu let out a cold laugh. "Do you still remember the Yi family of Yanjing?" Han Mingxuan quickly remembered after thinking for a moment. The Yi family, once the dominant force in Yanjing. Only their family in Yanjing is qualified to be called the Yi family. But the Yi family was already brutally exterminated over 20 years ago. Is the Yi family bloodline not yet extinguished? I'm back for revenge. Tang Yu stared at him coldly. Today I'll spare your life, as long as you sever your own hands. Then go back and tell the Han family. My elder brother Yi Cheng will return like lightning. Families like yours seek revenge for the Yi family's tragedy. Hearing that I could escape a calamity, old Zhu was feeling immensely grateful in his heart. He decisively walked over to his young master and threw 2 punches, interrupted the young master's arm. Tang Yu said calmly, "You left both your hands behind." Zhu Lao, who had just been secretly relieved, was now dumbfounded. After breaking both hands, I could only run away with my young master in a dejected manner. This way, Yi Cheng turned back, and it's not easy to get by in Yanjing anymore. In accordance with the original plot, after he went to Yanjing, he pretended to be a pig to eat a tiger for a while. It has just slowly developed. As for the Han family wanting to cause trouble for me, it doesn't matter. You are looking for Tang Beichuan. What is my relationship with Tang Yu? Jai Ying on the side looked extremely uncomfortable. He has just come back to his senses. Tang Xiao is not just a top expert. It's not bad to play dirty. After leaving Qinzing with Chai Ying, Tang Yu took him shopping for clothes and to eat. We also stopped by the arcade. Then he was sent back home. Tang Yu returned to the car. The system's voice slowly began to sound. The reward for the soul of the society I has been distributed. Please check dog host. This reward can be activated when the target is mentally unstable. And brainwashing control. Isn't this just a traitor making machine? Finally, I can create some chaos for the family across the street. The man dressed like the villain from the novel, after just pulling the male lead's hatred. Thus I received the system reward, the soul I. Can brainwash and control the target individual. Tang Yu smiled slyly. Decide to test it on the Grim Reaper squad. He took out his phone and dialed Bai Wanni's number. Last time, didn't I send 4 people over? How are those 4 people? Bai Wanni's tone was a bit gloomy. Just sitting in the detention center. Didn't you say these people have criminal records? I couldn't find out. A few days ago, Tang Yu suddenly sent 4 people over. He specifically looked it up. In the end, nothing was found. But intuition told him. These 4 are probably in league with Longya. Tang Yu chuckled darkly. Can we go see them? Bai Wanni readily agreed. He still owes Tang Yu a favor. After arriving at the detention center, Bai Wanni has been waiting at the door. He is wearing a black silk short skirt. The hot figure is showcased to the fullest. A hint of a detective's vibe. Tang Yu smiled slyly, followed him into the detention center. Bai Wanni followed behind Tang Yu, wanting to eavesdrop. After eavesdropping on Tang Yu about the newcomers last time, he was filled with curiosity about this. I saw Bai Wanni following closely behind me. Tang Yu turned back and asked, "Why are you following me?" "Go, go, go. Don't follow me, bro. Brother still needs to brainwash those 4 people. Do not arrange for them. How to set a trap for Yi Chen. If you don't want to follow, then don't follow. I'll check the surveillance myself." After seeing Tang Yu walk in from outside, the faces of the death squad members instantly turned grave. The gaze was somewhat fearful. They collectively swallowed. There is an urge to escape. Tang Yu remained silent, just coldly stared at them. At that moment of intense tension, a purple light flickered in Tang Yu's eyes. After seeing this purple light, the 4 of them suddenly felt a bit dizzy. Consciousness began to fade gradually. At that moment, Tang Yu's low voice suddenly sounded. "Are you satisfied with your work?" The 4 people shook their heads in confusion. "Are you satisfied with your income?" The 4 shook their heads again. "You want to slack off during the day and have fun at night. Is the club's happy heart offering $1 million for 4 dishes and 1 soup?" The 4 began to nod vigorously. "What are you still hesitating for? Join the Tang group. Rescue the oppressed villains of the world. Eliminate all inequality. From today we are Dava Lishi." With a low roar from Tang Yu, the eyes of the 4 gradually became clearer. "Do you now know what you should do?" The 4 of them spoke in unison. We listened to Tang Xiao. He pulled a chair over and sat down, then said, "First, tell me what you know." After listening for about 5 minutes, Tang Yu figured out their grand plan. He didn't expect that. Yi Chen is actually going to Yanjing and responsible for receiving Su Hang's. This is a character named Lu Junjuo. According to the original plot, this person is a character who appears in the middle of the novel. He is Yi Chen's junior disciple. Both strength and talent are quite terrifying. Always wanted to seize the position of Yi Chenlong the Dragon King. Later, There were multiple covert schemes against Yi Chen. Let Yi Chen suffer several losses. In the end, Yi Chen outsmarted him and took him down, because the plot has collapsed. This guy is making his entrance now. Tang Yu let out 2 clicks of her tongue. The development of the storyline network is naturally a good thing for him. But knowing this guy is about to take over Suzhou and Hangzhou, Tang Yu started to feel a bit down. He wants to take over Suheng. Self-affirmation is definitely his top priority. After a moment of addiction, Tang Yu looked at the 4 people. From now on, the 4 of you focus on lurking around him. Report any situation to me at any time. You can also hold him back a bit during regular times. After he couldn't accomplish anything, it's better to join forces with me to deal with Yi Chen. Do you know? After giving her instructions, Tang Yu left the meeting room satisfied. Arrange for 2 5s for the other party. This wave is definitely secure. After Tang Yu left the meeting room, the 4 members of the Grim Reaper squad exchanged glances. Decide to work hard for Tang Xiao from today on. Just walked out of the detention center. Tang Yu felt a chill rise from her back. Bai Wanyi walked over from behind. He handed over a motorcycle helmet. Let's go. I will treat you to a late-night snack. After arriving at the barbecue stall, after the 2 ordered a pile of barbecue, ordered a few more bottles of beer. At this moment, across the street, a black car is parked by the roadside. The man in the driver's seat was staring intently at the 2 people through the window. After watching for a while, holding the phone, the 2 took a photo and sent it out. The man dressed up as the villain from the novel. Just received the system reward, the Eye of the Soul. Just directly brainwashed the male lead's subordinates. After finishing, I had barbecue with Bai Wanyi. Unexpectedly, this scene was captured by Lu Junzhuo's men. Meanwhile, in an underground casino, Lu Junzhuo was sitting in the private room, gambling against the 2 officials from the casino. They are playing poker. Both Higuans are top-notch con artists. But at this moment, they were already sweating profusely from the defeat. I've lost 15 times in a row. The one he made a bet with is the owner of this casino, Zhu Sheihui. He is also a big shot in the underground world of Suzhou and Hangzhou. At this moment, Lu Junzhuo's phone vibrated twice. He picked up his phone and glanced at the photos sent by his subordinate. Isn't this the rich 2nd generation from the Tang family? It's said that Yi Chen has never won a woman over this loser. How could he be with Bai Wanyi again? After arriving in Suzhou and Hangzhou, the first woman he set his sights on was Bai Wanyi. This woman's identity is quite special. If only I could conquer her sooner. A great support for oneself. After a moment, Chen Ying, Lu Junzhuo let out a cold laugh. Just right to trick them all at once. Bai Wanyi is focused on eating. The phone on the table suddenly rang. He glanced at his phone. It turned out to be a text message. Shui Hotel's underground casino on the 2nd floor. Bai Wanyi's expression changed slightly after reciting a couple of lines. He recently investigated 2 cases of usury. After following the clues, they discovered an underground casino. But no detailed address was found. Bai Wanyi finished speaking and turned to leave. Tang was suddenly choked. The mood escalated in this scene. Yuan Shuju received a text message from Bai Wanyi during dinner. Someone reported an underground casino to her. She is also investigating this casino. After getting the address, I sneaked into the dark room where the sound was coming from. A major incident occurred in this dark room. After the identity was exposed, the people from the casino caught him. If it weren't for the appearance of Dragon King Yi Chen, she probably has to put on a scene like a search officer. After this plot concludes, Her fondness for Yi Chen has increased significantly, halfway conquered. But the key point is that Yi Chen is no longer here. If you don't take care of it yourself, isn't it a waste for her to go like this? With no other choice, she could only get up and chase after him. The casino is a big pit. It should be Yi Chen who is sending you the message. After you were led to the casino, something went wrong. If she makes a move again, you'll boost your favorability. But Yi Chen is no longer here. Who set up this trap? After hearing Tang Yu's heartfelt voice, Bai Wenyi felt a deep shock in her heart. This guy knows again. I remember the clues I heard from Tang Yu last time. After a moment of hesitation, she decided to go. Tang Yu quickly got into the car with her. Filled with doubts in my heart, she discovered, even if Dragon King Yi Chen is no longer here, some plot lines will still progress normally. But who sent this text message? This situation was originally supposed to be handled by Yi Chen. She is not here. The gain has all been replaced by others. Tang Yu instantly thought of. Lu Junjuo takes over Su Heng in place of Dragon King Yi Chen. Let's talk about it after we get there. Just make sure nothing happens to Bai Wenyi. As soon as we arrive at the casino, the mastermind will eventually reveal themselves. We'll find out whether it's Yi Chen or Lu Junjuo then. Bai Wenyi drove silently, listening to Tang Yu's thoughts. Feeling a bit grateful in my heart. This guy cares about himself quite a bit. As for the name Lu Junjuo, she also firmly remembered it in her heart. Setting a trap for oneself, then don't let yourself find out. Otherwise, be prepared to face the consequences. After the two entered the hotel, to conceal their identity, the two pretended to be a couple. After handing over the phone according to the rules, then someone led them through a hidden door into the casino. While the two were wandering around the casino, several cameras in the casino are silently locking onto Bai Wenyi. In the monitoring room, Lu Junjuo stood proudly in front of the monitor, staring at the screen. I saw Tang Yuzhen following behind. A glimmer of joy flashed in Lu Junjuo's eyes. Since this fool took the bait, today will be a great harvest. Let someone kill him. Go down and save the beauty to gain some favor. Zhu Shehui already knew today's plan. With a wave of his hand, the minion beside him immediately sprang into action. After wandering around the casino for a while, Bai Wenyi has also finished her investigation. Just as I was about to leave, a group of people charged toward them aggressively. The man dressed like the villain from the novel. After learning that the female lead has been set up by someone, risking life and limb, they followed to the casino. Lu Junjuo had been waiting here for a long time. Just as the two were about to leave after their investigation, a group of people rushed towards them. Tang Yu pulled Bai Wenyi and ran towards the back. This is an underground casino. The only way to get out is to take the elevator. Can run to the elevator. That must be a freebie. Standing here feels too open. The advantage of having more people on their side was fully realized. Tang Yu decisively pulled Bai Wenyi into the bathroom. Hurry and contact them. I will block them. Bai Wenyi nodded. Quickly pressed the watch a few times to activate the emergency contact feature. As soon as it starts, help will arrive within 15 minutes at most. Tang Yu casually picked up the iron rod from the sink. As a high defense and low attack, then we can only rely on copying the tools. He just picked up his weapon. The main force has charged forward. At the forefront is a young man with light hair. They have received the notification. This man can be killed. Just don't hurt the woman. I saw Tang Yu standing at the door. He charged forward, yelling loudly, and punched Tang Yu in the face. This punch felt like an egg hitting a rock. Tang Yu swung back and hit him on the head with a hammer. Immediately, blood splattered. Bai Wanyi quickly stood up after finishing the emergency contact. Fighting alongside Tang Yu, I saw him rush out. The crowd chasing up seemed a bit hesitant. Because the boss just said, "We can't hurt this woman," one of the clever ones immediately commanded, "Go and hold this woman back. Finish this guy off." Tang Yu didn't say much after being hit. A stick comes swinging back. The corridor with the bathroom isn't very wide. They cannot leverage the advantages of the human wave tactic. Just like the zombies in Plants vs. Zombies. The gourd warriors lined up one by one, weak and fading. The other two trying to delay Bai Wanyi were not doing any better. They didn't dare to be harsh on Bai Wanyi. Bai Wanyi was not being polite at all. She has always detested these scoundrels. Another half-hearted practitioner. Every 2 minutes. The two fell to the ground. The situation became awkward. A strike that cannot be moved. A person who cannot fight. More than 30 people didn't take long. It has already reached 12 or 13 on the ground. Seeing this group of people not daring to act against Bai Wanyi, Tang Yu boldly charged into the crowd with 2 knives in hand. "Today, brother will teach you how to be a villain." After seeing a few more fall down, this group of thugs completely collapsed. Just as Tang Yu was about to chase after a guy to beat him up, Bai Wanyi has rushed up to grab him. "Don't mess around. You are bleeding." Bai Wanyi's voice trembled with a hint of crying. She just saw Tang Yu endure many attacks. "Now there is blood all over me again." At this moment she deeply regretted it in her heart. "I shouldn't have taken the risk of bringing her along. If it weren't to protect myself, she won't get hurt any more." At that moment the system's alert sound rang out. Congratulations to the host for surviving the casino plot. The reward is to follow the words as they come. Can be used 5 times. After hearing the prompt sound, Tang Yu's expression darkened as he cursed inwardly. "Dog system, you're at it again." The main gate of this reward. Words become spells with power. It's not even a valley. Based on the system introduction, the words shouted while throwing a punch determine its power. What is all this stuff? While Tang Yu was puzzled, Lu Junjuo in the surveillance room looked as dark as a lump of ink. The arrangement was specifically planned for a hero to save the beauty. Easily take care of this kid, a win-win situation. Lu Junjuo walked out with a stern face. He twisted his body after stepping out the door. The sound erupted like a violent brawl. Immediately he seemed to shrink. His figure transformed into that of a hunchbacked, middle-aged man. After using the body shrinking technique, he pulled out a human skin mask from his pocket and put it on his face. This way, he became another identity. He just rushed down to the casino, taking advantage of Tang Yu's distraction. A sudden attack from behind struck him on the back. With this cut down, even the clothes couldn't be torn. As a master at the peak of the Xuan self-destruction, Lu Junjuo quickly noticed. This is the immovable underworld King Bo. It is said that after reaching perfection and completion, Xuan's self-destruction cannot be defended against. Even if there is immovable underworld King Bo, protective shield. Killing him myself is still not a difficult task. He took a deep breath. The internal energy began to surge. A figure lunged at Tang Yu like a charging cheetah. Tang Yu came to his senses. Already kicked in the chest by Lu Junjuo. This kick connects. Tang Yu stepped back several times. There was some pain in my chest as well. The man dressed up as the villain from the novel. Gained super strong defense value from the immovable underworld king's bow. Unexpectedly, he was kicked by Lu Junjuo. This technique is actually showing signs of being broken. He glanced at the man attacking him. He is a middle-aged man. At this moment, Bai Wani realized. He held the watermelon knife in his hand, striking towards Lu Junjuo's back. Attempting a surprise attack, Lu Junjuo did not look back even once. He caught the falling knife with 2 fingers. Then the 2 fingers applied slight pressure. The watermelon knife snapped instantly. After seeing this, Teng Yu instantly confirmed the identity of this person. Bai Wani responded with a swift kick towards Lu Junjuo's groin. Just as the kick was about to land, Lu Junjuo has vanished from the spot. Bai Wani had not yet reacted. Just then, Lu Junjuo struck with a swift chop, fell unconscious after being struck on the neck. I saw Lu Junjuo walking towards me step by step. Tang Yu's expression was somewhat gloomy, relying on the immovable underworld palace. Hitting back is no longer effective. Timo is really a bit flustered. This is the first time I've held on for so long. Don't crash here. The first time. Suddenly, strange images flashed through Tang Yu's mind again. These scenes are of him being killed by different people. It feels as if I once lingered longer in certain novels. But he can't remember. When exactly did this happen? In a moment, these memories vanished again. Seeing Tang Yu's bewildered expression, Lu Junjuo let out a cold laugh, once again charging towards Tang Yu, unleashing a storm of spells. Feeling within the body, the spirit of the immovable underworld palace is gradually fading away. Tang Yu knew he couldn't just sit and wait. He has 5 more chances. After enduring a punch from Lu Junjuo, Tang Yu began to operate. Words become spells with a punch. At the same time as throwing a punch, Tang Yu let out a roar. After this punch hit Lu Junjuo, Lu Junjuo stepped back 2 paces, slightly frowning. He charged forward again to attack Tang Yu. The offensive is even more intense than before. He knows about this guy's immovable underworld palace. I can only hold on for 1 more minute. When a punch thrown fails to inflict damage, Tang Yu silently addressed the matriarch ancestor of the system in his heart, sending sincere and warm greetings, gazing at the unmoving underworld palace. I can't hold on much longer. Tang Yu threw 3 more punches in succession, tried shouting different lines. But it was still of no use. At the brink of life and death, Tang Yu's mind sparked with inspiration, finally realized the true meaning of words turning into actions. Determine damage based on the lines. What kind of lines can deliver a critical hit? Isn't that obvious? Setting aside the facts, is it possible that men have no faults at all? After this punch is thrown, Lu Junjuo stood still, coldly laughing as Tang Yu hit him. Then he flew backward for a good 10 meters. Smashed 2 entire poker tables. Lu Junjuo opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of fresh blood. His face was filled with terror, severe pain in the chest. What kind of martial art is this? Why is the power so terrifying? Even his internal energy couldn't circulate. At this moment, noisy footsteps came in from outside the door. A team of fully armed special police burst in. Leading the team is Wang Jun from the West City branch. He rushed over and saw Bai Wani already fainted on the ground. Her face was filled with shock. Quickly ran over to help Bai Wani up. While everyone was distracted, Lu Junjuo seized the opportunity and ran towards the bathroom. He is truly injured quite badly now. After rushing into the bathroom, he quickly took off the human skin mask and flushed it down the toilet. The contraction of my body was released. The body returns to its original form. Soon, the special police will come to the bathroom to catch those who are hiding. poisoned dog, and the staff. Lu Junjuo was also handcuffed and taken to the police car. After a single punch sent Lu Junjuo flying, Teng Yu was also startled. In a critical moment, I had a sudden inspiration. I didn't expect such destructive power. He rubbed his chest, which felt heavy and painful. Teng Yu ran to find Bai Wanyi. Seeing Teng Yu covered in blood, Wang Chu was also taken aback. Teng Yu was about to say he was fine. Suddenly, I felt a wave of dizziness. After being forced to use the immovable underworld King Bo, that punch just drained too much of his strength. Lu Junjuo also got a bit hurt. He swayed and fell down. Bai Wanyi's quick reflexes allowed her to catch him just in time. Teng Yu directly picked up a princess leopard, the man dressed up as the villain from the novel. To protect the female lead, he nearly lost his life. Fortunately, it was revealed at a critical moment. The true meaning of words become reality with power. With a powerful punch, Lu Junjuo was knocked down. After being sent to the police station, Lu Junjuo originally thought there was nothing to worry about. The result is that I don't know why I was caught this time. Spent the whole night taking notes and conducting various investigations. At that moment, he happened to see 4 familiar faces. It is indeed the 4 members of the Grim Reaper squad. In this vast sea of people, we can meet here. Lu Junjuo couldn't help but feel deeply moved. I don't know why we haven't seen each other for a while. He always felt that these 4 people were a bit off, a bit silly. After the 4 of them pledged their loyalty in unison, Lu Junjuo nodded in satisfaction. After some thought, I made my plans for the future. Whispered to the 4 of them. The 4 of them listened intently. Their gazes, however, were somewhat eerie. At this moment, Teng Yu was also taken to the hospital. Looking at Teng Yu lying on the hospital bed, still not awake, Bai Wanyi always felt uneasy. After being hit so many times, how is it possible not to get hurt? He thought for a moment. Better take off Teng Yu's clothes and check again, to avoid missing any wounds. It will be troublesome when the infection sets in. Soon, Teng Yu's shirt was torn off, wiping away the blood stains on Teng Yu with a damp towel bit by bit. Then he turned Teng Yu around to look at his back. There isn't a single wound at all. I haven't checked the following yet. He thought of this question again. At the casino, Teng Yu tightly clutched his pants, refusing to let him check. Now that I think about it, this guy better not have hurt himself without realizing it, although the doctor has already examined it. But to be on the safe side, just confirm it one more time. At that moment, Teng Yu suddenly woke up. I noticed someone tugging at my pants. Couldn't help but let out a curse. However, upon seeing Bai Wanyi afterwards, he let out a slight sigh of relief. It's a good thing it's not a guy. This world is truly messed up. I'm too dangerous of a handsome guy like this. After resting for a while, the unmoving underworld palace, that stubborn spirit began to slowly return. But today at the casino, this wave, it really startled him. Lu Junjuo is definitely more impressive than Yi Chen. At that moment, a sudden urge to urinate surged up, accompanied by Wanyi to eat barbecue and drank several bottles. I haven't peed since going to the casino. He wanted to get out of bed to address a physical issue, but he is in a state of detachment. It seems a bit difficult to manage. I saw Teng Yu suddenly making a hesitant expression. Bai Wanyi asked what was wrong. Teng Yu cleared his throat. I feel a bit embarrassed. I want to pee. Bai Wanyi then remembered that this guy had already left. He also felt his face flush. Do I have to help him to the bathroom myself? He has taken care of children. I do know how to help with urination and such." Seeing this guy with a look that he can't hold it in any longer. Just grit your teeth and agree. Su Mu Yu hurriedly made her way to Tang Yu's hospital room. When he found Tang Yu locked in the hospital room, Bai Wenyi, blushing, was helping Tang Yu walk out of the bathroom. The two women locked eyes. The atmosphere suddenly became a bit awkward. Bai Wenyi suddenly had a clever idea and quickly shouted, "Muyu, you're here," just in time to help support him a bit. "He has broken free." Su Mu Yu hurried over to help Tang Yu and brought him to the bed. Then he suddenly realized a problem. This guy has escaped. Walking is inconvenient. Women are becoming increasingly different from before. After hearing Tang Yu's heartfelt voice, Su Mu Yu shivered slightly. The two looked at each other. "It seems like we're struggling to find common topics to talk about. Most of my memories from those years revolve around being a simp, facing cold shoulders every day." There wasn't even a normal conversation between the two for over 3 minutes. Sumu Yu was silent for a moment before speaking. "If you're tired, you should take a break." Teng Yu closed his eyes and quickly fell asleep after lying down. Sumu Yu sat by, feeling a wave of satisfaction, staying by his side, listening to him mutter to himself, "Actually, it's quite good. The man dressed up as the villain from the novel. After experiencing a life and death situation, I was sent to the hospital because she had to rely on Bai Wenyi to help her to the bathroom." Unexpectedly, Su Mu Yu hurriedly arrived at that moment. Tang Yu could only fall asleep in the awkward atmosphere. Not long after the two women left, Tang Yu woke up. At that moment, the voice of the system echoed in his mind. Reward system upgrade. Enable plot prompt feature. Ensure the plot collapse does not affect the host's foresight of the story. Tang Yu was somewhat surprised. He originally thought that after another direct confrontation, he would be rewarded with something like public recognition. "I didn't expect this reward to be a feature that provides plot hints." In this way, the plot may have fallen apart, but it doesn't affect his enjoyment of the subsequent story. After a moment of contemplation, Tang Yu asked, "Will the auction continue as planned, since Lu Junjuo has taken Yi Chen's position? The upcoming auction scene will be quite important. In the original plot, Yi Chen won an antique at a low price at the auction. This antique hides a potion and an ancient martial arts technique. Greatly enhanced his abilities. Han Mingxuan from Yanjing. It was killed while competing with Yi Chen over something to play with. Will proceed normally. The plot has been revealed." The system quickly prompted the plot of the auction in Tang Yu's mind. As expected, the main character of the story has changed. The person who seized this opportunity changed from Yi Chen to Lu Junjuo. After getting familiar with this part of the story, Tang Yu already had a plan in mind. In the Teng Wan group, the secretary is reporting to Wang Yixu for confirmation. "Young Miss, General Manager Lai of Mingju April Group would like to invite you to discuss cooperation." Yuan Zhu remembered the other party. Mingju is a well-known wealthy woman. It is said that there are 3,000 concubines. She has an e-commerce platform. I want to merge with an e-commerce platform under the Tengwing Group. Let's compete for a top 3 position in the industry. After a moment, she nodded and asked about the meeting time. Then hurriedly took out the phone and called Tang Yu. Prepare to take him along to discuss business. The e-commerce platform under the Tengwing Group is taking a high-end approach. The second largest shareholder of this platform is the Tang Group. So if we want to merge, we definitely need to discuss it with Tang Yu. After confirming over the phone, the two decided to meet at the airport. Tang Yu hung up the phone and drove towards the airport. I silently thought about how this storyline has changed. She remembers that the original book had this plot. Wang Yixu went to negotiate business. As a result, the partner drugged him, just as she was about to suffer humiliation. Dragon King Yi Chen emerges to kill the antagonist. Later, to interpret nature, it just became that way. The system quickly informed Tang Yu of the changing plot. Indeed, Yi Chen's role has been replaced by Lu Junzhuo again. After some thought, she sent a text message to the Grim Reaper squad. At this moment, the importance of the double crossers is highlighted. After getting off the plane, the two took a car heading to the hotel. Wang Yixu handed the documents in her hand to Tang Yu. Tang Yu glanced over it a few times. There's nothing much to talk about. In any case, this business partnership is definitely not going to work out. In the end, it's just that Lu Junzhuo is a worthless scoundrel. Want to deliberately trick you into going over. I'll give you the medicine, and a hero will come to save you. Then it took advantage of everything. Yi Chen compared to her, at least like a half-hearted pure love warrior. After hearing Tang Yu's heartfelt voice, Wang Yixu was taken aback. Who is Lu Junzhuo? It seems like they are on the same path as Yi Chen. Still counting on myself, she squinted her eyes, quickly sent a message with the phone. Since the incident with Yi Chen last time, the Wang family also began recruiting soldiers, invited several motivators back to testify all at once. There are two people secretly protecting her now. After sending a message to the two bodyguards, a glimmer of coldness flashed in her eyes. Since you dare to play tricks on yourself, then don't let it fall into your own hands. When the car arrived at the hotel, when the two got out of the car, Lai Zufei is already waiting at the door, a pair of sly little eyes. Keep spinning around Tang Yu, as if the eyes had X-ray vision. Tang Yu was so scared that he got goosebumps. He even swallowed hard, noticing Lai Zufei's gaze. Wang Yixu felt a surge of anger rise within her. This woman's broken company is in for bad luck. Lai Zufei quickly extended her hand to shake hands with Tang Yu. Tang Yu didn't dare to go pick up. She laughed loudly. Sorry, Mr. Lai. I just used the restroom and didn't wash my hands. Shaking hands with you is a sign of disrespect. Lai Zufei's eyes flashed with a hint of resentment. Use this as an excuse. This is looking down on oneself. She hated men looking down on her the most. The man dressed as the villain from the novel just experienced a life-or-death escape. It was learned that the entire plot had collapsed. Originally, the scenes for Yi Chen were all changed to Lu Junzhuo. Lu Junzhuo has felt disheartened since his unsuccessful attempt to impress Bai Wan with a brush. Just adjust the target to Wang Yixu. Prepare to set a trap using Lai Zufei to take action against her. As the Tang Group, the second largest shareholder of Tengwen Group's e-commerce platform, Tang Yu then reunited with Wang Yixu. The three of them walked into the hotel. Lu Junzhuo is drinking in the suite. Received the news with some surprise. He didn't expect that the kid with the surname Tang would come again. Thinking of Tang Yu, his gaze held a hint of apprehension. Then he snapped his fingers. The Grim Reaper squad in the room. Next, this kid with the surname Tang has also arrived. If he gets caught later, first, arrange a few ugly women for him to enjoy. Take another set of photos of him to post online. Since this kid has come to us, then I won't be polite. After going out, the four of them immediately sent a text message to Tang Yu. They walked to a quiet corner. Lu Junzhuo, this sinister little man, again plotting against Tang Sheng behind his back. We can never give him this opportunity. We'll do it later. As soon as Tang Yu walked into the private room, he received a text message. "All right. Jam Lu Junjuo. Still want to drug my brother. Just drugging him is enough. We still need to arrange a few unattractive women for the photo shoot. Lacking great virtue. Fortunately, brother left a backup plan." Wang Yixu sat by the side all the way. "I've heard it all. Regarding this person named Lu Junjuo, he has already sent someone to start an investigation in Suzhou and Hangzhou. Once the investigation is clear, it will be time to take action." After preparing the meal, Lai Zufei held the opened red wine. "It's time to pour wine for Tang Yu and the others." At that moment, Wang Yixu suddenly spoke up. "I have an alcohol allergy and do not drink." Lai Zufei was instantly stunned. "He doesn't drink alcohol. What is this operation?" Lai Zufei looked a bit embarrassed, intentionally dissatisfied. "General Manager Wan, I know you can drink alcohol. There's no need to find such excuses. Are you really not going to give me any face?" "What does it mean to not give you face?" "Everyone is a partner. Respect is two-way. A little investigation will reveal that I am allergic to alcohol. Still trying to persuade me to drink. What do you mean?" Wang Yixu slammed the table and said coldly. He suddenly lost his temper. A sudden pressure made Lai Zufei feel a bit anxious. He let out a cheerful laugh. "Knowing this won't work, I dare not say more. Shift the target to Tang Yu." Tang Yu smiled and said, "Sorry, I am allergic too. I'm allergic to idiots. Don't talk to me." Lai Zufei's expression was slightly gloomy. He didn't expect such a big setback in the first step of the plan. "If I had known it would be like this, I should have poisoned the food." Seeing things not work out, he can only settle for second best. "If you don't drink alcohol, you all drink coffee and tea often, right? There are always ways to deal with you. Wait until after dinner. Go back and discuss it with Lu Junjuo." At this moment, Lu Junjuo is still resting in the suite, thinking of the upcoming enjoyment. He was eagerly looking forward to it in his heart. Immediately, his reason began to be cleansed bit by bit. "My body feels a bit off," when there was still a trace of rationality left in the body. He suddenly looked at the red wine beside him. Could someone have drugged their drink? At that moment, there was a knock at the door. "Junjuo, I have entered." Lai Zufei walked in, preparing to discuss the change of plans with Lu Junjuo. Little did he know, a beast was already waiting for him. Very soon, the sound of screaming like a slaughtered pig echoed from the suite. This is a 6-star hotel. The soundproofing in the room is quite good, but it couldn't stop the high decibel sound. The Grim Reaper squad is now standing outside the hallway. The 4 of them smiled broadly. "I want to trick the teacher. Let's start with a spark today. Then I'll throw the pot onto this woman." The man dressed like the villain from the novel. Having offended the new male lead, she fell into a trap. "Fortunately, I had my subordinates, the assassins, submit to me in advance. Let the Grim Reaper squad launch an attack on Lu Junjuo. I have to say, using a traitor like this can indeed save time and effort." Hearing a sound like that of a pig being slaughtered, Tang Yu couldn't help but sigh. "I really have nothing to complain about. What is going on?" Wang Yixu also came up with Tang Yu. Knowing the truth, he pretended to be clueless and asked, "Nothing much. Those who have loved deeply shouldn't keep score. Laughing to death. I still want to go after your father. Waiting for your father to infiltrate. Let someone steal the show and beat me to death again." "Yes, Lilai." After hearing Tang Yu's heartfelt voice, Wang Yixu's lips curled up slightly. "First play a bit, then fight. It's indeed a good idea." He quickly sent a text message to the Grain bodyguard. Let them get ready to beat the drowning dog, because the noise was simply too loud. After 3 hours, the hotel has run out of options. Half of the hotel guests already know about this and report them. In desperation, the hotel can only send a few security guards to knock on the door and stop them. Continue on. The hotel can't open anymore when several security guards went up. Several internet celebrities have already reached out. The hotel incident has been filmed and posted online as a short video and attracted a lot of attention. Lee Junjuo finally woke up, his face pale, looking at the big ugly woman in front of me. He couldn't hold it in and vomited right there. After hearing the noisy sounds outside the door, Lee Junjuo felt like he wanted to die. There are even damn streamers live outside the door. The knocking at the door grew more urgent. He knew he definitely couldn't stay in this room. After thinking for a moment, he gritted his teeth and pulled out a human skin mask. This is something he deliberately copied from Tang Yu a while ago, but it is not yet perfect, because everyone's face shape is different. The human skin mask will never fit perfectly. After he put on the mask, only the 6 energies take on a similar form. He gritted his teeth fiercely. Since this matter cannot be avoided today, let this kid embarrass himself. Before leaving, he pulled out a pill, dropped into the already unconscious Lai Zufei's mouth. This elixir is a slow-acting poison. You won't die immediately after taking it. About a week later, suddenly die from heart failure. After doing all of this, he opened the door and rushed out with a face full of resentment. At that moment, it was discovered that the 4 members of the Grim Reaper squad were guarding the safety passage. He paused, about to give them orders. 4 people rushed over and punched Lee Junjuo in the face. Lee Junjuo was immediately furious. One's own subordinates actually dare to hit their master. At this moment, Lee Junjuo is in a shocking and poor condition, attacked by a combined strike from 4 people. He fought back fiercely but still took several hits. At that moment, he suddenly remembered he was still wearing a human skin mask on his face. So he quickly pulled away. After tearing off the mask, he shouted at the 4 people, "I'm the fool." The 4 finally stopped their attack. Lee Junjuo was nearly out of breath. He indeed arranged for 4 people to wait here to ambush Tang Yu. But who knew the plan would change so drastically? But now, Lee Junjuo still refuses to give up. After letting the 4 stay at the hotel to look for opportunities, he ran away from the hotel. "I just want to find a place to take a good bath," running out through the back door of the hotel. Suddenly, 2 figures rushed out from the roadside. The moment he realized, both have landed a punch and a kick on him. It was the 2 inspiring bodyguards following Wan Yixu. The strength of these 2 individuals is quite impressive. It's the peak strength of Huang Zijian. Under continuous attack, Lee Junjuo was already so enraged that he felt like he might explode. But his current state is really too poor. Facing the onslaught of 2 peak-hewing self-destructors, can only watch helplessly as the other gains the upper hand. What's even more deadly is that these 2 are extremely ruthless. It's clear that someone intends to kill. After continuous injuries, he really couldn't hold it in anymore. Decide to let go of pride. After the energy sinks to the dantian, he let out a furious roar. "Help!" I saw the security guard coming. The 2 royal bodyguards felt somewhat helpless in front of so many people. Indeed, I can no longer bring myself to kill this person. The 2 had no choice but to abandon their offensive and quickly retreat. The man dressed like the villain from the novel. After gathering the top assassins under the male lead's command, Lee Junjuo received a series of stacking hits. Let them lose all dignity. Tang Yu returned to the room after seeing that things were progressing smoothly. The cold voice of the system echoed, "Improvement of physical fitness rewards," and significantly enhanced the strength of the weak host. Tang Yu immediately felt a change in her body, a thick, black, sticky liquid with a rancid smell, flowing out from his pores. He quickly ran to the bathroom to wash it away. According to the system's explanation, after this wave of fines, it's all settled. I have already developed an exceptional martial arts physique. Moreover, the strength has directly improved to Huing Jai Jin. In an instant, I transformed from an ordinary person into an inspirer, although this strength is still a bit low. Can't slap Yi Chen Zhenhuo to death. Greatly increased Tang Xiao's limits of bullying the weak and fearing the strong. Tang Yu's mother fell into deep thought. It seems like they didn't really go all out against Lu Zhenzuo today either. Where did the high rewards come from? At that moment, his phone, which was placed aside, rang. Tang Yu took a glance at it. Tang Yu gave each of them a high-end club membership card. Each card was charged 1 million, enough for them to play for a year. The next day, the two had breakfast downstairs at the hotel. Tang Yu bid farewell to Wang Yixu, ready to fly back to Suzhou and Hangzhou. In 2 days, the auction storyline will begin. According to the original plot, an antique jade lion appeared at the auction, after being chosen at a glance by Dragon King Yi Chen. The people from Yanjing's Han family started to fight him. After a brutal battle, Yi Chen successfully obtained the jade lion, and activate the mechanism on the jade lion, received a 9-turn elixir and an ancient martial arts manual. 8-level collapse of authority. Now the plot changes. Yi Chen is no longer involved in this storyline. The one who took this opportunity in his place was Lu Zhenzuo. The 9-turn elixir can greatly enhance a martial artist's cultivation. Tang Yu returned to Suhang to accomplish just one thing. Who decided that all good things belong to the protagonist? Take it first, talk later. After completing the check-in procedures, Tang Yu sat in the waiting room, resting for the flight. A girl just happened to be pushing a wheelchair over. An elderly man with white hair is sitting in a wheelchair, with a face that seemed to carry a silent threat. The girl pushing the wheelchair caught the attention of many men. The girl is quite beautiful, with a head of enchanting long hair. The kipao made her appear more elegant. After seeing Tang Yu, 2 women smiled, slightly sweating. A handshake is a greeting. Tang Yu smiled and nodded. He recognized the 2 women. They are the first family of ancient martial arts scholars from Suzhou and Hangzhou. Sitting in the wheelchair is the current head of the Wayne family, Wayne Rain Yuan Shan. At 30, he claimed to be unbeatable in Suzhou and Hangzhou. At the age of 40, I had already entered the 4th season. Both strength and talent are top-notch. Unfortunately, 3 years ago I traveled all over Huaxia. What's going on? Wenren Yuanshan reached out and touched his daughter's hair. Don't worry. The young man named Lu Zhenzuo is indeed very skilled in medicine. It won't be long. Dad will definitely be able to stand up. He had lost hope in his own legs. I'm ready to be a useless person for the rest of my life. Until recently, a young man named Lu Zhenzuo suddenly found himself. He used an unknown acupuncture technique for treatment. I could actually feel pain in my own legs. Even a toe can move. This gave him hope to stand up. I am also filled with gratitude for the outstanding young man named Lu Zhenzuo. Tang Yu, who was drinking water on the side. I almost got shot after overhearing the women's conversation. In the original book's plot, it should be Yi Chen who treats the scholar Yuan Shan to conquer Suzhou and Hangzhou. He not only needs to conquer the four major families to build a business empire, he still needs to take down the influence of Su Hang. As a prominent literary family, they are the foremost family in Seju and Hangzhou. He seized the bridgehead treasure of the inspiring force. Lu Junzhuo's medical skills are indeed impressive. Healing paralysis is something that can be achieved. But being cured is one thing. It requires a life to exchange. His method of deliberately overdrawing vitality for treatment. After the treatment, you will only live for a maximum of 1 year. After hearing Tang Yu's heartfelt voice once again, the gaze of the cultured poet finally locked onto Tang Yu. The man dressed as the main villain from the novel just went through a plot. I just came across the first drum family of Su Hang, a literary household. Wenren Yuanchen was treated by Lu Jiudan after his legs were paralyzed. The two women also developed a sincere appreciation for him. Unexpectedly, this was the sound of one's own heart being heard again. The cultured poet finally set their sights on Tang Yu. He took a deep breath. Looking at Tang Yu, I wanted to get straight to the point and ask clearly, but I found that the words just wouldn't come out. I noticed something was off with my daughter. The scholar furrowed his brow and asked. He wouldn't think that his daughter saw Tang Yu as nervous and silly, such a useless rich second generation. His own daughter wouldn't even look him in the eye. After a few seconds of the tape getting stuck, the scholar finally realized that the voice he had just heard could never be expressed. But as a naturally gifted dancer, his mind is quite clever. So he attempted to rephrase and asked, Tang Xiao, your family should know quite a few famous doctors, right? Can you recommend a few people to help my dad check his legs? I couldn't help but roll my eyes in my heart. Big brother, why are you so proud with me? I don't owe you any money. Still hoping for Lu Junzhuo. He'll treat your leg 3 more times, and it will be fine. Then they pinched their fingers, waiting for Tang Banbin to cry out, Bai Shanshan, although I feel very unhappy. But there's no way to refute it. Tang Yu finally spoke up. I have a good relationship with Elder Jiang, the divine doctor. Uncle Wenren can take a look at him. Old divine Dr. Jiang, we have already visited. It seems like the effect isn't very significant. The scholar let out a bitter laugh. Yet my heart felt even more shaken, because Lu Junzhuo really talked to him. Just 3 more treatments. His father's leg can recover. Tang Yu gently hinted. Let's have Elder Jiang examine it again. Maybe there will be a way. His medical skills are far superior to those of unknown itinerant doctors. You've made your point clear by now. You should be more careful. Hurry and let Elder Jiang take a look for you. He can still figure out this little problem. The scholar's expression darkened slightly. Let Elder Jiang check and confirm. It seems like a good idea. The scholar Yuanshen was already feeling a bit annoyed. He has a great admiration for Lu Junzhuo. They believe this young man is exceptional. He held Tang Yu hostage and sneered. Ten Shao, in this world, there are countless reclusive high-level individuals. Go out more and see the world. Sitting at the bottom of a well, one can only see the sky above, which only invites laughter. Tang Yu forced a laugh, his smile not reaching his eyes. I really don't want to deal with you. If it weren't for not wanting to see you as Lu Junzhuo's wife, looking for trouble with the Tang family instead, I really can't be bothered to waste my breath with you. After hearing Tang Yu's complaints, Wenren Yi's expression was somewhat awkward. He knew that Tang Yu truly meant well and had no malice. The scholar's refined song reflects a rather complicated mood at this moment, but he had already made up his mind. Once we return to Seju and Hangzhou, I'll take my father to see the old Dr. Jiang for help. If Lu Junzhuo truly has ill intentions, Then don't blame yourself for being rude. After boarding the plane, the scholar Yaji settled his father and then expressed his intention to go to Tang Zai's place. After walking for a while, I found Tang Yu's seat. Tang Xiao, just now my dad said something offensive. It's not appropriate to say anything in front of him. I apologize to you on his behalf. Wenren Yaji slightly bowed to Tang Yu to express his apology. His attitude surprised Tang Yu a bit. The irritation in his heart had diminished significantly. Waved his hand and said, "It's nothing. A small misunderstanding can be resolved. The attitude is quite good. I was originally planning to help you expose Lu Junjuo, but never mind. Your attitude stinks. Turn around and cure your father's illness with ease. There are still a few exquisite prescriptions for paralysis in the King Nang Tian. The cultured songs are both enchanting and exhilarating. This guy still has a way to treat his father's leg." He randomly took out a business card and handed it to Tang Yu. "Then I won't disturb Tang Xiao. This is my business card. Tang Xiao can add a planet Earth as well. What is good to connect with?" Seeing the polite attitude of the cultured scholar, Tang Yu felt a bit puzzled in his heart. After getting off the plane, Wen Renye looked at the driver and instructed, "Go to the clinic of old Dr. Jiang." The scholar Yuan Shan looked puzzled. "He doesn't like to owe anyone favors. There is no need to go bother Elder Jiang, the divine doctor. Just let that young patient friend, Lu Junjuo, help with the treatment." But the literati shook his head. "The tone is very firm. Is there a problem? You'll know after a try." Seeing my daughter's expression, Wenrin Yuanshan also knew he couldn't persuade her, can only helplessly comply. The man dressed like the villain from the novel, learning that the male protagonist aims to take control of the influence in Seju and Hangzhou, to treat the literary figure Yuan Shan a hasty and profit-driven manner, to gain the trust of the literati family. Unexpectedly, with Tang Yu's prompt, Wenren Yage decided to take his father with him, go to Jiang Lao Shen Yi's clinic to check on the illness, to validate Tang Yu's true feelings. I saw the father and daughter arriving. Dr. Jiang greeted warmly. "Two have arrived. Where do you feel unwell today?" The scholar recited respectfully. "Old divine Dr. Jiang, I recently met a remarkable person. I received treatment for my leg and it was effective. I would like you to help me see how the treatment is working." After hearing this news, Elder Jiang, the divine doctor, was also somewhat surprised and excited. Even with his medical skills, he couldn't solve this problem. There are actually such remarkable talents. He hurriedly began to check the pulse for Wenrin Yuanshan. "Close your eyes and feel carefully." But in the next moment, his expression suddenly darkened. "This is absolutely outrageous. How can this be so reckless? Who did this nonsense?" Seeing old Dr. Jiang suddenly get angry, both the father and daughter were somewhat surprised. Elder Jiang, the renowned divine doctor, is famously good-tempered. This person's medical skills are indeed exceptional, even slightly better than me, but their intentions are extremely malicious. With his medical skills, if you are willing to be patient and have acupuncture once every 2 weeks, it will take a year to heal your leg, but this person resorts to any means for quick treatment. Acupuncture was performed on Sanhui Point and Yuanjing Point. This treatment method will severely deplete the body's vital energy. Even if cured, they won't live for more than a year. The scholar's expression changed instantly. Tang Yu really hit the nail on the head. The scholar Yuan Shan was utterly shocked. He didn't expect that the young man he admired unexpectedly harbors malicious intent. Besides anger, he felt more guilt in his heart. "Fortunately, I ran into that kid from the Tang family today, and he gave me a reminder. If it weren't for this, I fear my life would truly be short." While his father was receiving acupuncture treatment, Wen Renage stood outside the door with a face full of hatred, lying motionless. What a bold Lu Junjuo to dare insult a family of scholars like this! If he doesn't take revenge, he considers himself unworthy as a cultured scholar. Just thinking about how my strength isn't as good as others right now. He was feeling a bit restless. No matter what, we must not let this person go easily. Meanwhile, in the antique shop, Tang Yu rushed over. The new manager of the store is already waiting for him. Since Zhao Gao was sent to Antarctica, a middle-aged man came to take over his position. He is also a knowledgeable expert. He is very polite towards Tang Yu. The previous manager in the shop was General Zhao. It is said that Tang Xiao helped with the matter afterward, received a reward of 1 billion. Hai Gaosheng has gone abroad to take on a leadership role. Now I can assist Tang Xiao. That is the fortune earned over 8 lifetimes. Panji, how is the jade lion you helped me with earlier? Tang Yu smiled and asked. That's about it. A few days ago, he received a notice and a photo from Tang Yu. Immediately called over a few experts, carving the jade lion for Tang Xiao Yao. After several days of hard work, the finished product has been polished. There are still some small flaws. Tang Yu walked in and saw the jade lion the size of a coconut. I am quite satisfied. Even the mechanism of the 9-palace lock below. Everything was perfectly restored according to Tang Yu's requirements. The original jade lion. This is a mechanical 9-grid lock. And others can't drive either. Only the Dragon King Night City can be opened. It's good that I have read the original book's plot. Tang Yu remembered how to drive. Tang Yu is very satisfied with the finished product. Just let them get dressed up. Send it over to the auction house. Brother won't directly snatch from you. Jilai Jiu Muhan Ju. Penji, there is a packet of medicine powder here. Could you please help me turn it into pills later? You can pack some disgusting things inside the pill. The queen helped me send it to Wanbao building. Let them prioritize the auction for this. Dragon King's Night City. This is the first time I've seen the 9 transformation pill in person. Now it has changed to Lu Junjuo. It should be the same. This packet of powder was specially concocted by him. Just relying on smell, it's hard to tell. Did not swallow it personally. Absolutely have no idea this is poison. Disgusting things. Pengji touched his bald head. Harness the wisdom accumulated over the years. I started to think about this question. After a moment, his gaze shifted towards the bathroom. The man dressed up as the villain from the novel. The protagonist will be at the auction. Obtain the 9-turn elixir and the ancient martial arts manual from the Jade Lion. Greatly enhance one's cultivation. Let the subordinates create a sample of the Jade Lion. Let it be sent to the auction for a misty pearl. The auction is held at Sihui Mountain Villa in the suburbs. Tang Yu just walked through the door. I saw the scholar's pavilion. Following beside him, there was also a handsome young man. The young man's lips curled into a wicked smile. It is very similar to Dragon King Night City, but it's the right corner of his mouth. Night City is the left corner of the mouth. Strictly speaking, this was Lu Junjuo's first time meeting Tang Yu with his own face. So when he saw Tang Yu, he still smiled calmly, not worried at all about being recognized by Tang Yu as foolish. Strike the enemy with a lethal blow from the shadows. This is his forte. Tang Yu was also seeing Lu Junjuo's face for the first time. Once recognized, he couldn't help but steal a few glances. That dog is laughing like it's in Night City. Kiss the 2 mouths together. Give me another cross-eyed look. That's truly authentic. The scholar's elegant study twitched at Tang Yu's complaints. He now thinks that Lu Junjuo's charming smile looks a bit silly. It's like there's a problem with the facial nerves. After my father received treatment from the renowned Dr. Jiang last time, these past 2 days he has been lost in thought, still not in a hurry for revenge. First, we need to let this person lower their guard. Then a decisive strike. The three of them deliberately tried not to draw each other's attention, so no one said hello. After waiting for about half an hour, the guests have mostly arrived. An old man walked up to the stage. The speech to the guests has begun. This old man is the head of Wanbao Building in the Seju and Hangzhou area. By the mid to late period, they naturally became one of the Dragon King's staunch allies. He provided them with plenty of intelligence. After he finished his speech, the auction segment officially begins. Half an hour later, the jade lion was finally placed on the auction stage. Upon seeing this jade lion, many people cast curious glances. Esteemed guests, the next item to be auctioned is a piece of art, the white jade lion. I am unable to find out which master this came from due to my limited knowledge. However, I believe its artistic value is quite high. So the starting bid is 5 million. Guests who are interested may give it a try. Perhaps it's just simple. The guests burst into laughter. However, those who can attend this auction are. His worth has never been below 1 billion. For them, several million is indeed not a lot. Soon someone started to place a bid. After hearing these people place their bids, Lu Junjuo, feeling a fiery passion in his heart, did not rush to speak. Either don't bid. Either make a decisive decision. Today this jade lion. He has made up his mind. When the price reached 9 million, no one is bidding anymore. The little old man on stage held a small wooden hammer. Just as I was about to call out for the third time, Lu Junjuo finally spoke up. 9.1 million. He noticed it. This price is already the psychological bottom line for these people. So he is only willing to add an extra 10,000. It's a waste even if there's more. This gentleman, starting with an increase of 100,000. Please make a new offer. The little old man on stage also felt a bit awkward. Lu Junjuo frowned in dissatisfaction. Dai Ku Dao, that's 9.1 million. The person who previously made 9 million rolled their eyes but said nothing, gave up continuing to bid. At this moment, Tang Yu suddenly shouted, 10 million. Lu Junjuo instantly looked over at Tang Yu. A glimmer of killing intent flashed in his eyes. This guy, is it that one is inherently at odds with oneself? The little old man on stage also looked a bit surprised. He knew that this item was sent by Tang Yu. Filming your own stuff. What do you want to do? Reluctantly, Lu Junjuo could only continue to bid. He absolutely cannot allow the jade lion to fall into Tang Yu's hands. His gaze was filled with apprehension. Could it be that this guy has also discovered the secret of the jade lion? 50 million. When Tang Yu called out the price of 50 million, the crowd erupted in an uproar. Seeing Tang Yu bid so wildly, Lu Junjuo can be sure Tang Yu must have discovered the secret of the jade lion. So the two of them started to raise the price wildly. In just 5 short minutes, the price has already risen to nearly 10 billion. It's simply insane. But at that moment, Tang Yu suddenly gave up bidding. The little old man on stage quickly struck the small wooden hammer in his hand. Overjoyed in my heart. They can earn a 3% commission at the auction. This 10 billion is a net income of 300 million. His gaze towards Tang Yu was filled with admiration. The man dressed up as the villain from the novel, in order to snatch the male lead's spoils at the auction. Only one sample can be made for auction. Then they inflated the prices. Liu Zhuozhen was brought to tears as he secured it for 10 billion. According to the rules of the auction, as long as you take a picture and pay, you can take the items away. He needs to support that 9-turn bullet immediately, break through on the spot, then take this kid down. A few minutes later, 10 billion funds will be transferred to the auction company's account. The staff immediately had someone carefully bring over the jade lion. After the staff left, Lu Junzhuo glanced at the jade lion. Sure enough, there was a secret liquor store below. He let out a cold laugh. After a bit of fiddling, the wine cabinet was quickly opened. Inside lies a pitch-black pill. After seeing this pill, Lu Junzhuo's mood became excited. The magical 9-revolution pill. The recipe has been lost for many years. Now it's not easy to obtain a seed. He was truly overwhelmed with excitement. Help it down. You can break through to a lower self-cultivation level on your own. Afterwards, Tang Yu will definitely die. He put the 9-turn pill in his mouth, chewing slowly with a look of enjoyment, with a touch of bitterness. He understands the truth that good medicine tastes bitter. But after chewing a few more times carefully, the bitter taste gradually began to change. A foul smell in the mouth. The beginning grows ever stronger. It felt like releasing a muffled fart. This is it. It won't be wrong. It's this familiar scent. Lu Junzhuo swallowed the crushed elixir after chewing it. I began to think in my heart. There is a precious medicinal material in traditional Chinese medicine called Yiming Sha. It's actually bat guano. Besides that, there are also droppings from other animals. Even human feces is a type of medicine. Just as Lu Junzhuo was about to take this opportunity to calculate the formula, a sudden sharp pain surged through my abdomen. As a highly skilled healer, he was well aware of what issues his body was facing. No, the medicine has poison in it. Lu Junzhuo's expression changed dramatically. Immediately opened his mouth and started to vomit desperately. An indescribable stench wafted from the vomit. What's even worse is, this toxin has already spread throughout the body. He quickly took one of his own concocted antidote pills. This feels a bit better. At that moment, he suddenly realized. Rushed out of the VIP room with red eyes. The auction of the precious jade lion has long since ended. Seeing Tang Yu playing with the jade lion, Lu Junzhuo felt his anger rising. But seeing Tang Yu was just playing with the jade lion, he let out a slight sigh of relief. It seems this guy really shouldn't know how to pick locks. There are no more than 5 people in the world who can unlock this 9-palace lock. But it definitely has nothing to do with this kid. That fool must have eaten the elixir from the jade lion. The child of vitality is indeed the child of vitality. This couldn't even poison you. Tang Yu quietly reveled in the misfortune. Just got the jade lion. He immediately opened the 9-palace lock, took the things out from inside. Inside, there was a 9-rebirth pill and an ancient martial arts secret manual. After obtaining the 9-revolutions pill, Tang Yu decisively swallowed it. Eating this will enhance your cultivation. As for the ancient martial arts secret manual, it's definitely not possible to cultivate all at once now. If this guy is really poisoned, isn't the chance to kill him finally here? The scholar's elegant chamber felt a surge of joy in his heart. I didn't expect to have the chance for revenge so soon. Tang Yu's eyes darted around. The auction is almost over. It's time to make a run for it. Otherwise, this beast Chuan will commit suicide at the peak of its power. Starting a storm really doesn't bring any advantages. After hearing Tang Yu's inner voice, the scholar's elegant study fell into silence for a moment. quickly caught up with Tang Yu's pace. Based on his understanding of Lu Junjuo, Lu Junjuo will definitely not let Tang Yu go. At that time, the chance for gratitude and revenge has arrived. As soon as the two left, Lu Junjuo has returned here. I noticed that Tang Yu was no longer in his seat. He suddenly fell silent, let out a roar. Charge at Tang Yu with all your speed. When both sides were still 2 meters apart, he was truly furious and his energy surged wildly. A sudden kick struck Tang Yu's back. After this kick lands heavily, Tang Yu almost fell while drawing his gun. The jade lion in hand flew away. The man dressed like the villain from the novel, to compete with the male lead for the item. Spare no effort to set a trap and swap the main player. He obtained the 9 Revolution elixir and the ancient martial arts secret manual as he wished. Instantly elevated one's cultivation level. Unexpectedly, the male protagonist developed a murderous intent upon discovering it. Taking advantage of the moment, he kicked Tang Yu away. The jade lion in his hand also flew out. Lu Junjuo's face was filled with joy. He seized the jade lion in one swift motion. He quickly opened the mechanism of the 9 palace lock below. Inside, there really was elixir. This time, the medicine cabinet has no foul smell. He was overjoyed. Quickly toss the 9-turn pill into your mouth and swallow it. After taking this elixir, not only did I not feel any changes within my body, instead, the giant copper that had disappeared before has appeared once again. His pupils instantly constricted. Is this another damn poison? This kid shouldn't be able to unlock the 9 palace lock. But just now, Tang Yu, who looked panicked, suddenly a bright smile appeared on her face. This medicine might not kill Lu Junjuo, but it will definitely seriously affect his combat ability. So don't blame me for being rude. He decisively clenched his fist and charged towards Lu Junjuo. Feel the toxin spreading in the body. Lu Junjuo was shocked. He poured the last 2 specially made antidotes from his body and swallowed them. Immediately, I exchanged a punch with Tang Yu. After this punch connects, adding insults to injury. Keep going. The one who suffers losses is definitely him. Just as he was about to make a run for it, the scholar's elegant song came running over. His face instantly changed. At this moment, he couldn't care less about his dignity. Hurry and seek help from Wenren. With his fondness for himself, I will definitely join forces to deal with Tang Yu. A scholarly figure with a fierce expression rushed to his side. A powerful punch, built up for a long time, suddenly struck out. This punch landed on the defenseless Lu Junjuo's back. Immediately flew out on the spot. Seeing this opportunity, Tang Yu rushed forward and kicked Lu Junjuo. Lu Junjuo was kicked away again. He is just like a rubber ball. After hitting twice in a row, spitting out a mouthful of blood, he fell heavily to the ground. After getting up from the ground, he looked at Wenren with a mix of shock and anger. This man clearly likes the woman. Why betray oneself? You are damned. Don't think I don't know you want to harm my dad. The cultured scholar roared. Again, she charged at Lu Junjuo with a murderous look. After hearing the elegant song of the literati, Tang Yu suddenly woke up. He was just worried that this guy would come to beat him up with Lu Junjuo. I saw him make his move. Tang Yu decisively followed and started fighting. At this moment, Lu Junjuo's heart was filled with overwhelming hatred. A few minutes later, he has several bruises on him. I can feel my internal injuries getting worse. Lu Junjuo was genuinely panicked. At the moment, he was filled with extreme resentment in his heart. A large truck is coming down the road from behind. See this car? His eyes suddenly lit up. Endure the pain and bounce back up. Successfully caught this life-saving ride. Saw the large truck quickly speeding away, when Ren Yiji quickly drove off to chase. Tang Yu shook his head. The other party definitely won't foolishly stay on the car and escape. Most likely, they pick a section of the road to get off and hide. Tang Yu asked, "You already know about your father's situation, right?" "Got it. Thank you again, Tang Shao, for the reminder. This kindness will never be forgotten by the literati." The cultured poet deeply bowed to Tang Yu. "Tang Shao, are you free right now? Could you please come to my house if it's convenient? My dad already knows about this. I want to apologize to you in person." The scholar smiled wryly and said, "He is also furious today. I almost forgot to bring Tang Yu back." Before, he heard Tang Yu saying in his heart, "He has a way to heal his father's leg." He jumped off the car and stumbled into the park. Then he took out his phone, sent a message and location to the Grim Reaper squad. "Let them come and pick me up." After sending the text message, I collapsed and fainted on the bench. Lu Junjuo fainted on the park bench. It caught the attention of two sneaky-eyed young men. Soon the two took all of Lu Junjuo's wallet and phone. I also found two unopened boxes of Smurfs. The young man snorted coldly. "Open a box of Smurfs. A drop of water shall be returned with a spring. First, let the noble person squeeze a bit." Thus Lu Junjuo fell into a coma. I can vaguely feel a bit of pain in my butt. The man dressed up as the villain from the novel just resolved the stand and male lead. After a few episodes of rest, Dragon King Yi Chen has returned. During this time of recovering from my injuries, he is still anxiously practicing every day. He finally made a significant advancement in his realm, successfully stepped into the peak of Chuen Ziji. At this moment, he stands in the small garden beneath the private hospital, silently thinking about the upcoming plan. At this moment, two figures quickly approach from behind. The ones coming over are Lin Han and Chai Ying. Yi Chen habitually asked how the infiltration mission was going. The two women reported on their own. Yi Chen smiled with relief after listening. "Those useless members of the Grim Reaper squad betrayed myself by following Lu Junjuo. Lanya is picking up soap in prison again. Fortunately, the two of them are as reliable as ever." He looked at the two women and smiled. After being surrounded by a group of masters, instead they achieved success and broke through their limits. Now it has reached the peak of Chuanziji. So I decided to change my plans. First, let's not go to Yanjing. Continue to stay in Seju and Hangzhou. The two women's expressions changed slightly upon hearing this, but out of habit. The two women asked in unison, "How should we arrange the next plan?" Yi Chen's expression suddenly turned resentful. "Instruct Chai Ying to continue gathering important confidential information. Make sure to defeat the Tang group in one blow." Lin Han started from within the Tang family. He wants a great fire when the Tang family is in chaos. Let this family disappear from Seju and Hangzhou. The two girls answered in unison. A cold glint flashed in his eyes.